All right, delighted to be joined by Patrick Horgan, who has teamed up with AIB to support the Gold Mile. As part of the campaign, AIB is offering individuals who register for the Gold Mile the chance to win up to €7,000 for your GAA club. To win, people need to register for their Gold Mile and then enter the AIB GAA Gold Mile competition at goldmile.org AIB GAA competition. Mr. Horgan, how are you, sir? It's good to see you.
Good, nice one, Mike. Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. I suppose it's a question you're getting a lot, but how is intercounty retirement treating you?
It's not too bad so far. Staying busy. Still training away. I train probably as much as I've ever done, but yeah, that's probably never going to leave me. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. Yeah, I've a bit more time, but not too much either.
Yeah, it's. I suppose it's been a whirlwind the last couple of months since you announced your retirement. Was it something that was kind of on your mind coming up, I suppose, to this championship campaign?
Um, Not so much because I try to always, stay focused on what I have to do really. And if you're thinking of um, ending anything while you're still playing, it's probably hard to focus on playing, and you're probably putting more pressure on playing. But I suppose it was just afterwards, when the season ended, and as I said a few times, when you see Jack there, he's at home, and
Yeah.
he's gone from like tiny to so big, like very quick. And when you're out of the house every night of the week, it's hard to not see him as much, and he's gone away. So that was another part of it as well.
You haven't been out of the intercounty scene long, and you've been brought back straight in, I suppose, to the under 20 setup. What was the reaction, I suppose, when Noel Furlong called you up nationally to be part of the 20s for next year?
It's obviously it's a little bit different as regards the focus you put on your own body while I still do train. It's time restrictions wouldn't be as much as if
Mhm.
you're a player, because everything goes into when you're a player, from your diet, your sleep, how you even think now these days, who you're speaking to, who you want to speak to, just in case they might say something that might affect how your week goes, preparing for games or training, whatever. This is just another side of it, I suppose, where I do enjoy the side where I'm on the field with players, and these are the top players, obviously, in the county for under 20s. And I think if I can give anything to them, if I can give them any bit of advice or any bit of bits and pieces of coaching along the way and make them any bit better, I think it'd be well worth doing. Yeah.
Is that something that's kind of just to your previous point, Patrick, is I suppose the demands that are being placed on intercounty players at the moment, they seem to keep increasing, increasing, increasing.
Yeah, well, that's just the nature of it. Like, nobody's gonna wake up in the morning and say, I'm not going to do as much as I done last year,
Mm.
because it's just built into fellas. What have you done last year is kind of gone, and you have to do that, and that's the minimum requirement. And I suppose um, everybody wants to be better than they have been. So fellas are always reaching out and trying to do the extra bit, trying to just try a different training method or recovery method. And it just keeps building and building. It's never going to go backwards. It's always kind of going to go forward. It's going forward at a pace. Like, it's hard almost to keep up with it.
Yeah, I'd imagine it is. Just I suppose for me, hearing the news yesterday that you were going to the under 20s really kind of it was a case for me. It was like, oh, Hoggy actually is retired now from intercounty hurling. It really kind of confirmed that for me. I still think I was in a bit of denial, and then I was expecting you back in January. But I suppose, what's the reaction been like? I suppose of people that you meet out and about since the retirement news, are people saying, "Ah, you'll be back next January" or whatever, and not really
Yeah,
believing it.
you're not the only one thinking that way. There's a lot of other people thinking as well, including my own family. They're all like, yeah, yeah, sure, we'll see you there next year, but it's not the case. No, I wouldn't be one for that. Yeah, it's when I make a decision, it's obviously, I wouldn't have made the decision if I had thought ever if I wanted to play again. So I'm just going to play with the Glen, give my all to that, and give my all to this new role, and hopefully that works out, and I can make a difference in some way to younger players, looking to break into the senior panel and
Mm.
become better players. Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you think he'll bring to the 20s, I suppose, next year, Patrick? I think even just for a player looking over the sideline and seeing Patrick Horgan on the sideline for your team, it'd be a huge boost for them.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure. I don't even see it that way then, of course, but because they're gonna have to play the games themselves. That's the thing. But uh, I would just think that having just come out of playing kind of high level hurling, and the little bits and pieces that I've learned, I suppose, over the years, with small things, if I could pass any of them on and just get them to grasp a couple of things that are very important at the real highest level. If they can just pick up one or two of those things, I think that would be a job well done for me anyway.
Obviously, it's selected next year, but is being in charge of a Cork team at any level, I suppose, something you'd be thinking about down the line?
Um, to be honest, I actually I haven't had much time to even think. I suppose when the position was there, when you hear Cork under 20, really high standard, good young fellas, you see all the young fellas around Cork, really good players, even from our own club in the Glen. Seen the Cork minors playing last year and the 20s playing last year, they were unlucky. And just think if I can make any difference to them, it would be great, like, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it certainly would be, yeah. And look, there is plenty of talent around the county in that 20s team, the minors team as well. I suppose it's kind of vital for them to be successful because then that would feed into the senior team as well down the line.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. Like it's just a progression, I suppose, from playing minor to senior, and in the middle, I suppose this is the part where they will learn the most because they're kind of coming up against a few really good players that play senior for their county, and you know that's I suppose the biggest learn of it is the physicality, and I suppose the speed of it is just
Hmm.
something they would have never seen before. And I suppose preparing them for that ahead, like, is it's a big task, but it'll be very rewarding, I suppose, to see players progress into that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Just when you look back on the senior setup for the last couple of years, you've given us some absolutely tremendous days. Just for me speaking as a Cork fan, some incredible moments. I'd imagine it was a pleasure being part of that Cork team, not just the last couple of years, Patrick, but just over your entire career.
Yeah, I suppose the difference in the last, I suppose, 3 years that we had was the support we had got from Cork supporters. I've asked a few people, have they ever seen it even before, like in the GAA? I'm saying, like, and I don't think anything's ever been seen like it before.
Mm.
Every match we played was sold out, really loud, great atmosphere. Um, and it gave us a real buzz, like it really did on the field. It's just a bit unfortunate we couldn't get over the line in one of the years. But I suppose they're just moments, I suppose, along the way. But if I look back in the 3 years, like, while it was, bad enough, like the All-Ireland finals and the feeling after it. Like, there's a lot of good days as well, and we things that happened, I suppose, during games and like down the park that we'll obviously think about for a long time yet.
Yeah, 100%. And I think Pat Ryan might deserve a lot of the credit as well for the galvanizing effect he had, and not just the Giza team, I suppose the Cork support as well. And as you mentioned, just the entire Cork probably just got around this team the last couple of years.
Yeah, that was what Pat created, I suppose. Like, he's that way about him. Like, he's just everybody likes him. And I suppose the message he would have given to us very early on was like, give him something to support, and they'll see when you're trying, and they'll see when you leave everything out there. And if you do that, they'll, like, Cork supporters will follow you. Yeah.
Mm.
And he was right.
He certainly was. And as I mentioned, some absolutely fantastic days supporting the Rebels the last couple of years. Is the final against Tipperary something you still think about, or are you able to put it to bed and say, look, we have had a lot of success and we should be measured on that as well?
Yeah, as I said, that's like I would just look back over, like, the good times and uh, the good games, I suppose, that we were part of. And while I would think about the bad ones probably as much, it's just it's out of our control now. And while it was kind of a downer for us all, like, yeah, it's I suppose we just have to look. In my case, I have to look at the good things, I suppose. When I suppose the boys still in there are looking ahead, probably thinking we have to put that right, and it'll probably give them a bit of fuel, like, so.
Mm. 100%, yeah. What about the WhatsApp rumors after the Tipperary game? I mean, like they were obviously all floating around, and you obviously had read them as well. It must have been frustrating for you to read that saying, look, this is obviously bullshit here, and people are believing it.
Yeah, it's it's hard because then like you hear if you're explaining you're losing like it feels like if you explain the truth. I remember someone said to me I was at work there shortly after the final and some fella said what was the story with the halftime thing? I was like honestly and this is a fella I know well. I was like honestly actually none of it is true. And he's like go away with that. So I'm like all right I was there you know
Yeah,
nothing happened so. It was strange because it just lingered on and on and on. And while it was all being said, no one was kind of saying, no, that didn't happen. And I'd say even players like us, we were kind of too down to even, we didn't care whether it was true or not. Do you know what I mean? It's like at that
yeah,
stage, who cares? But no, certainly not true anyway. None
yeah,
of it, not even close. It was just normal routine of a halftime break.
yeah.
That was basically it.
Because if you denied it, everyone would say, oh, yeah, sure, that definitely happened. So if
Exactly.
they're denying it, like, you know
If
what I
you're
mean? So
denying it, you're losing. Yeah. Yeah.
100%. But when you look at that team, Patrick, like there's still so much talent in that Cork team, plenty of exciting Cork forwards, like Brian Hayes was just a revelation this year. So I'm scoring 3 goals for the Bars playing football the last weekend. Phenomenal player and just a phenomenal talent.
Yeah, and I was after telling him he needs to buck up on the football, but I haven't spoken to him since the hat trick now. No, but like obviously him, Connolly, all the other forwards. Like, if I leave anyone out, I'd be wrong. But they'll have a good group around there, and fit like those fellas are the example, I suppose. Of what I said, well, I go of wanting to be better. Like they're all like Hayes, Connolly, Shane Kingston, all out in the field well before training,
Hmm.
speaking like, together, what can they do better? What do they feel works? And just kind of linking up and seeing can they do anything at all better. And I suppose they're doing that then over the course of the year. Like imagine the difference that makes them as players. And I suppose that's the standard. Like, yeah.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I suppose the big question is, can Cork now go on and win that All Ireland? And if they do, I'd imagine you're going to be in Croke Park with your Cork jersey on, celebrating with all the other Cork fans.
Yeah, I'll have to bring Jack.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely do think they have the team and panel to do it. And I suppose they've like especially after the way the year ended, like it wasn't it was the worst year ever because of the way it finished. But I suppose we did win 2 trophies last year.
Hmm.
They're not going into it exactly underdogs. I would say like they're probably one of the favorites to win it again. So I wouldn't exactly say oh they have to start off and you know beat all these teams. They're the ones to probably to beat along with Limerick. If we're being honest about it. So they'll be right there in the picture again, and hopefully the fuel from losing last year in the final, I suppose, hopefully drives them on and they can just do it.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man, 100%. No, it's no doubt a question you've been asked a million times. I'm going to ask it anyway. But when you look back on your Cork career, which games and moments stand out for you, come to mind straight away?
Um, because it was a home fixture, I suppose, Limerick in 2024.
Unbelievable.
It was only a group game. Like it was, I know people said after it was a nothing game, it was everything for us because if we lost, we were out. But I suppose that just because it was in Cork and there's plenty of other games up the country, Munster finals, other classic games that up in Thurles and
Hmm.
uh, yeah, it's hard to even pick them out. But there's loads like you know the way. But I suppose the Limerick one was definitely a sweet one. Yeah, the way it all worked out, high score and hard hitting, it was brilliant.
Yeah, I missed that game because I was at my kids' dance result in the Firkin Crane. But I'm not lying to you. When that penalty went in, I heard the roar from the Firkin Crane at Mishandon from Parky Queen. It was just genuinely incredible. And then just looking back and it just still brings goosebumps to me here now watching it back. But just finally for me, Patrick, civic reception from the Lord Mayor next month, or very soon, I think. Is it next month? Yeah, December. So
Yeah,
it's a fantastic achievement for any person to get to be honored by your city.
yeah. Obviously very grateful for it. Not sure how it's gonna go. I haven't like heard about it much before, like, but
Mm.
I'm really looking forward to the night. There's going to be a lot of people there, and yeah, it'll be a big thing for me and my family, I suppose, to be there and I suppose enjoy the night. And there'll be, as I said, there'll be a lot of people there and kind of all the people I played with, so it'll be good to catch up with all them as well.
Brilliant stuff. Patrick, a pleasure as always, sir. Thanks very much for talking to us today.
So, thanks, Rory.